would have held on to that sponge for another 5 years.
All right, moving on. How's everyone out there? Okay, hold on. You ready? All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What up, people? This is... Oh, welcome back to our channel, tekesteandjones. I am living Ishe Reviews, and this is...
Lisa, also known as the Alkali Yogi.
And today, on this video, we are going to review and recap...
Season 3500. Season 14.
Okay, we're going to review and recap Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 4.
Anyone's guess.
Or 5.
Or 6.
Yeah, one of them. We'll have it. It's in the title, whatever it is.
Right. Like above and below.
And they call this is my decision day. And before we get into that, let's tell them what I'm about to get into.
We have a mukbang, right? Because like we like to enjoy some food as well as give you some commentary and recap of our favorite trashy reality TV shows. All right, so this evening, what do we have? We have some salmon in a coconut butter, which I highly recommend. I will leave the brand, etc. below. Cooked in a coconut butter with a really nice grainy mustard, as well as a little maple syrup. Then we have some olives, which are alkaline and pitted, so be careful. Then we have some pasta. So typically I would not pair, as a holistic lifestyle coach, I would not pair a starch with a flesh. However, this is made purely of garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. So it's not a starch, it's a legume. And last but not least, we have some sauteed veggies, always organic, and it's a mixture of Swiss chard, kale, spinach, yellow bell pepper, habanero, so it's muy caliente, and some cherry tomatoes. So voila, this is our dinner for this evening.
Voila. And to top it off, I'm gonna have my trusty, nope, not palm juice today, but guava juice from Costco. Watch our video, how to get real organic shopping at Costco. How to get the good food, the real food. Watch that video. She is telling us so much information. So now we're gonna start with
I didn't get my food.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, this is good. I'm tripping. All right. Okay. Hold on.
So we're back.
Okay. So now let's get into, hold on, let me get some more of this.
Add a little bit of paprika to the pasta.
And it's pepper.
And it's smoked. That I bought in Barcelona.
The paprika is popping. All right, so we're gonna start with Mark and Lindsay. Now, so yeah, Lindsay is on 10, always. Lindsay is on 10 with their moving situation.
She low-key reminds me of me, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
He
Mark,
actually said it.
I mean, yeah, because they're laying in bed, and she's like rambunctious in the bed, and you know he got to make her laugh before that. I guess that's her thing, make her laugh before they go to bed. All he gotta do is pull his pants down. He make her laugh. Dad jokes. All right, let's see. Then they go to Katina and Elijah. He has some grandiose ideas about what marriage is.
He
Wouldn't you
sure
say?
does.
And especially marrying a woman who ain't never been married.
Who's young and is a self-professed party or reformed party girl.
And she's never lived with a man before. And he hasn't been married, or I don't know if he lived with a man before. But
the shade of it all. The shade.
But, you know, she's ready to be his wife, though, because she's like just going along. She's letting him lead. She give him full command.
Unlike some other people on this show and in this season, Katina is very much like prepared to live outside of her comfort zone, or at least explore being outside of her comfort zone by expanding her not boundaries, but her
limits.
Yeah, her skill set, her limits, all in an effort to, you know, grow into a new role. Let's be honest, becoming a wife is a role at the end of the day. It's a verb. It's something that you do. I think Ishay's enjoying his dinner.
I am. So, all right. So, but his light pushiness may be a concern. I think, you know, if he catches her on the wrong day. You know, on that time of the month.
I would agree with that, and also because we've not seen what her requirements are. There needs to be give and take, right?
Yeah.
So, meaning, you know, we understand that Elijah one really desires to have a home cooked meal every night. That's all great and all. It's not something that she was doing, obviously, as a single woman. But what is he prepared to do now as a husband? What's the role that he's going to take that he wouldn't have, you know, maybe practiced prior to meeting his wife when he was out there hoeing out in the streets of Boston, which I'm fairly certain he was doing.
Mr. Elijah. Okay, so now we going to Steve and Noi. I think the dog is going to be an issue.
Do you ever wonder if sometimes they play things up just for the cameras? Because it just sometimes doesn't feel like these conversations are truly authentic and like organic. Because if you came on this show and you chose to take a huge risk, right, by marrying someone at first sight, not knowing who you're going to get, what you were going to get, etc. But you were prepared to do that because love is the most important thing in the world to you. Wait, did I mention that pasta, the garbanzo pasta, I made a delicious cashew cream sauce with it. So it's like what in America you would consider like almost like an Alfredo, which by the way we don't have in Italia. It doesn't exist. We'll just call it a white cream sauce.
The more you know.
So what I did is I dressed the pasta not only with paprika. I forgot to mention that I actually made a delicious cashew sauce from organic raw cashews. I added some delicious non-dairy milk, and I had sauteed some red onions, bell pepper, as well as habaneros, because I'm East African and I need that spice. So anyways, I blended that together, and that creates a delicious vegan cream sauce. So
how about this lovely salmon?
Yeah, so the salmon, lightly roasted in the oven, like I said, to keep it nice and moist. Some people don't like that word, I know, but to keep it from being overly dry, added a generous amount of the coconut butter, which I love, which is all vegan and organic. Actually, I don't know if it's organic, but definitely all vegan and gluten-free, obviously. And, you know, I kind of made it like a sweet and savory by adding the mustard and the maple syrup. Agave is a really nice alkaline version as a sweetener if you want to swap out the maple syrup. I just didn't have any in the house, so I use some maple syrup, but this is a really easy way to do like a quick, like 5-minute dinner without a lot of fuss or muss in the middle of the week. And bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle. But no, back to the couples. Who are we speaking of? Oh yeah, Noi and
Steve.
Yeah, it just seemed like her reluctance to make space for her husband in her life, in her bed, next to her, because you know, if you follow scripture, if you want marriage, period, as badly as you say you do by virtue of going on a show and taking a shot at marrying a complete stranger, you would think that you would be prepared mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically to put that person above everything other than God, for instance, right? And I mean, I believe that that's what's even said in the scripture and in the Bible. So her reluctance, her resistance sometimes makes me wonder, do you ever wonder if these conversations are, you know,
they seem a little far-fetched.
Yeah, like there was, because did you feel that resistance as well? Like, well, he has to have 3 beds, but ultimately he always needs to be next to me, even if that means in between us. Well, do you want these 3 children? Because how are you going to get 3 kids out of this man if you have a dog between the 2 of you?
Yeah, I mean, she's just wanting everything she wants, or getting everything she wants. So
focus on the important stuff, like the fact that he is looking for work.
Yeah, he's still a wanderer, somewhat. He's like a nomad. Chris moves in seemingly by himself.
Poor guy.
And he's analyzing on camera all the reasons why she doesn't like him or want to be married to him. And he's like surmising, well, maybe it's because of this. And, you know, maybe it's because of that or somebody, but nobody's told me that, you know, I don't know if anybody's telling him directly.
Right. It sounds like there's, what do they call
Like
that game?
rumor.
Telephone?
Oh, tag? Or
Where the story gets changed because it gets passed down through so many people. It's like, you know, I caught a really big fish, and then that changes to I caught a 12-foot fish, and then that changes to I caught an 18-foot fish. Which is, I mean, obviously there's no such thing, but I'm saying it as it kind of just progresses down the line and it kind of changes, but you don't actually get it from the horse's mouth. I could hear and empathize with Chris and the frustration because, at least from what we've seen on camera, she's not been prepared or willing to sit down and really just be transparent. Be open, honest, transparent about why she doesn't want to be in this marriage, why she's not interested in him. She keeps saying we're not compatible, we were gypped, we were robbed of an experience. But actually sitting down and hashing that out, which is a conversation that I imagine would have taken a good amount of time to flesh out, because Chris obviously would have had his own take on things. It just never happened. And so the poor guy is constantly having to get pieces of information from everybody other than his wife, who won't just sit down and have a lengthy, honest conversation with him. And it doesn't even need to be on camera, but it should be on camera because this is what you signed up for.
Yeah. Okay. And Michael and Jasmina, they're in an awkward stage right now. This is just the beginning of the episode. And they, ever since the vacation, I mean, they started off good that first night. And that vacation, I mean, after day 1, it was like, man, what are you doing? Jasmina needs to find a doggy hotel. That's why she isn't going to stay in that apartment. So their first night in the apartment, she's not going to stay there. She said that she just need to get back into a routine of things and get her dog some daycare, the right daycare. But off screen, in the production camera, she was
During the interview, she actually revealed.
But she did need space, right?
She wanted a reset. So, and this is important because she's such a stickler for Michael being transparent and honest. And I believe like she has been transferred up until now. This was for me was a big it was a big I don't want to
Let down?
no, not well. It created the word escapes me. It was just, she wants something that she did not give in this very specific situation. I'm not saying that this is a pattern for her. It appears to be the first time that she's done this, but throughout the episode, we see her harping on the fact that Michael has not been transparent enough, that he's not been honest enough. But she literally, told a fable. She said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going home not because I need space, but because I need to take care of my dog.
Yeah, so
Only
she
to later.
Actually admitted she lied. She said, I'm not going home because I need space, but then she said, I need space.
I needed the reset because, that holiday was difficult on them. It wasn't much of a holiday.
Yeah. So,
Jasmina, did you get your beautiful hair wet? All that beautiful natural hair. I don't feel like I ever saw you.
None of the girls got their hair wet. None of the black girls got their hair wet.
But why? That's all your hair.
I don't even think the other two, Alyssa and Lindsey, either. The only girl was Noi that I seen get their hair wet.
You so just maybe gotta dive right in.
Maybe it was a, consensus. But Jasmina is being a little hypocritical, just a little bit. Because I'm pretty much like kind of on her side, like why she's mad at with Michael.
We get that part.
Yeah. So all the couples wake up the next morning.
Apart from Chris and Alyssa.
And Mike and Jasmina.
Oh, right. Yeah. Those two were also not together the first day in their flat. But then the next day they go to see each other's homes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Tell us what's in the greens.
It was just it was a fresh mix of Swiss chard, red onions, yellow pepper.
You guys ever heard
cherry
of chard?
Tomatoes.
You know what chard? It's that other green.
There's also kale and spinach in there. It's like a blend.
Other than kale, mustard, and turnip, there's chard.
There might actually be mustard greens in there too. It's a blend. I purchased a blend which is organic, whole grain. So.
Okay, so they keep saying over and over, distance isn't good. For
the experts say this. When you need to work something out, better to stay close together.
Yeah, and so at each other's homes, so we go to Steve and Noi. Steve is not feeling that dog, Sushi. He doesn't want to take care of no dog. He don't want to pick up. He don't want to get a job. He don't want to pick up after himself.
The poop.
He don't want to work in no company. He don't want to get up in the morning, Monday through Friday. He just wants the easy life and coast. Cause he's got the complexion for the protection.
I've not heard that before.
I got a lot of
American.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you think about Noi's apartment?
Very cute. Very neutral. Cute, tidy. It was very much something that I expected from her. I wasn't surprised. I was surprised to see that a lot of them seem to either live in really small flats or just studios.
It could be either age or maybe they just starting in their careers,
Yeah, it must be that.
Or maybe Boston is really expensive.
Right, I didn't know that it could be like New York City. Because that's not unusual to see in New York. I was surprised, though. I didn't realize that Boston... Well, I shouldn't say. I don't know either way. But yeah, all I'll say was I was surprised that so many of them were living in such small quarters and or had flatmates. Including Lindsay. Like, Lindsay had a flatmate. No, sorry, she had a small, what looked like appeared to be a small flat, potentially a studio. But no, Noi's place was really nice, cute, like I said, light. What I would expect from her because she's so cheerful and bubbly and upbeat.
She has some clouds.
What did you think? Did you like her? Is there anyone's home that stood out to you?
Oh, we'll get through it. I don't know yet. I can't think I mean, I think I'm better off where I'm at, but I don't know about any of those places. So Lindsay and Mark, they go to Mark's apartment, and how was his place?
We have
How
a
was
saying
his
in
apartment?
Italian. It was un disaster. Era veramente un disaster. Like it gave me anxiety. But also I have to say I'm a self-professed minimalist. Also I'm OCD neat freak. So for me, chaos, confusion, all of that stuff makes me very uncomfortable. And granted, he did speak on why the place looked like it did. Obviously the bed bug situation whilst he was away, it looked like stuff had been taken out of the unit whilst he was away. So it looked everything looking a little bit disheveled, just not great. It kind of made me feel a little bit bad for the guy. But at the same time, to be fair, I've seen single guys live in worse conditions. So I basically feel kind of low-key bad for the gentlemen that are out and single in the world that haven't found their lady yet, who are looking and wanting their lady. Because there's nothing like a woman's touch. A woman is what turns a house into a home.
Hey, and there you have it.
What did you think of it?
First, he was calling this extra unit of a house an apartment, but I guess it is an apartment.
By Boston standards.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. I thought he was a little old to be living in that kind of place, but...
How old is he?
He's like 37 or 35.
Okay. So Boston must be really expensive then, like New York.
Yeah, because he got a good job. Regional sales manager or something.
Right, exactly. At that level, if you were living down south somewhere, you would probably own a beautiful condo or a home, no?
Yeah. And no wonder he can talk like he's a salesman. Okay, that makes sense now.
You think he's a good talker?
I mean, he's
game.
He's quick though. I mean, he don't have any problems talking to people. Okay. Remember how he was really like outgoing
I see what you're saying.
on the first meeting?
Right. He can present himself eloquently. He's well spoken when he needs to sort of speak to people or address people. Yeah, I can see that too. He's also very diplomatic, which makes sense because he's in sales.
Yeah.
Like the way he handled the Lindsay thing in the flight. When he went to apologize to everyone on behalf of his wife who wouldn't show her face at the time.
Yeah.
He did do that in a very sort of sales.
And when they went out, when they were in the apartment, she was throwing away everything. She was like all his heirlooms and personal stuff and sentimental stuff. Like she was trying to help him organize. And
wait, does that remind you of something else?
Yeah.
What did that remind you of? But now, since throwing away the one sponge with the smiley face, I ask you before I toss out anything, right? Like, he has to give me final approval.
Smiley face sponge is a magic sponge for scrubbing, and then you wash with a regular. Anyway.
But I've seen that sponge
okay.
Forever. Comment below if you believe, like me, that sponges have no longer than a 30-day life cycle, and then they're tossed out.
No, that was a $5 sponge. But anyway.
I don't care if it was $10. After 30 days, it's gone.
Okay.
Let me know if you agree with me or him. Because he would have held on to that sponge for another 5 years.
All right, moving on. She was trying to throw away the man's collection of baseballs that he had since he was a kid. He had his family chinaware, flatware, and dishware. And he said he only used one plate. Clean that and use one plate. And his box of watches and sneakers. I mean, he had to kick her out. He's like, okay, I got this. And she put all his stuff in trash bags, like they was getting a divorce. Like she kicked him out the house. Trash bags been moving single men since 1977. Big ups to Glad Bag.
But Here's the thing. Maybe she did that because by putting anything in a, who knows, maybe she was trying to fumigate and disinfect things once they
Oh,
were
wait a
in
minute.
transit.
Why were they at his house in the first place?
To move his items.
Why?
Because when they're finished living at this neutral flat, they're going to be living together at Lindsay's place.
But what was the reason they was wearing hazmat suits? To
Oh,
park in
the
his
bed bugs.
apartment?
Right, the bed bugs, right. And so maybe to, you know, not help spread the bed bugs in terms of if you put them in like good suitcases, whatever his belongings were, if the bed bugs were still alive, if they could, I don't know, if they can live on just any surface or not, excuse my
Well,
ignorance
he
here.
didn't seem to think that through because he was like, why they got to be having
Right.
my stuff in trash bags?
Well, either bring a suitcase or a box, sir. I don't know what to tell you.
Because he said, I feel like my life's been very organized, but it didn't look like it when she walked in that place. But I think people came in there and did something while he was gone.
They tore it up.
Okay, so next, Katina and Elijah. He has a nice house, but she's making changes because he's got a nice house, but the flavor is
Is lacking.
yeah.
I mean, listen, first of all, we commend him for having a home. He's a very young man. And given that, again, what we've seen is most people either have flatmates or live in studios, he, being one of the younger cast members, has actually done very, very well for himself. So well done, Elijah. You are clearly more mature than I had given you credit for. I'm very thoroughly impressed. So he appears to be a homeowner. He has an entire house himself, from what we understand. He owns the house. The house is dated, however, and that's, again, fine because this is a starter home. And it is I should say it's a starter house. And what it was needing was a woman to come in there and turn it into a home.
Well, she gonna make it a better looking home because he had the homey curtains. That kitchen was crazy. It was wood and brown, the old tan wood, and the granite, the old school black when
Countertops,
granite
yeah.
first came out. It was bad. That style got to go.
Mm-hmm. Katina's a very modern woman, you can tell. So she would feel most comfortable in a modern, clean home like me. I'm also a modern woman, and I too appreciate a modern home.
I mean, he had his home gym was nice, but it was lime green or puke green. It was weird.
I don't know if nice is the right word, but it's
No,
functional.
I mean, for the space he had and what he does, I mean, he pushes weights, so it was nice though. Let's see. Then we go to Lindsay and Mark. So they go to Lindsay's place this time.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about her place?
First of all, I thought she was a nurse for some reason. I could have sworn she said something about being at a hospice on the honeymoon, like being a hospice nurse. So I don't know. So I had fantasized that she was a nurse because, nurses I think are so amazing and great. But her house was, again, also very cute. She reminds me a lot of myself in that she likes to have some splashes of color, not too much. A lot of live plants, which is very healthy, and they also block out electromagnetic frequency, which is very healthy for a home, for a household. And she is very conscious about cleaning supplies as well as beauty products in the home. So I share all those qualities with Lindsay. So I liked her home overall, but again, was surprised that it was small. It looked like a studio again.
Yeah, I don't know how the two of them gonna be comfortable in that place. And she has the squat toilet.
Listen, guys, let me say, in all my years in Brooklyn, I did have a studio.
Hold on, let's not talk about what I'm eating. I don't know.
No, nothing gross.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say that only once have I lived in a studio in all my years living in Brooklyn. So yeah, again, I'm just really surprised how many people live in such small quarters, and in Boston. But yeah, I commend them for it, because even though I'm a minimalist, I do enjoy having a living room space and a bedroom space that are separated from one another. Me personally, because I cook a lot too, right? So when you cook a lot, if you're not able to provide some distance, a deep line of demarcation.
She had a very tiny stove, and he was cracking jokes about her place. I think he was getting her back for her
taking the piss.
For her being in his spot, and he was
taking all the liberties at Mark's place.
Yeah, he was clowning.
So he was poking the bear a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay, so now we go to Steve and Noy, and they go to Steve's place.
Yeah, what did you think?
That place was a bachelor pad. It was small, though. I mean...
But he's unemployed and still has a home.
Yeah, he got a home.
That's impressive.
It was nice, except for the LED lights.
Wait, so you wouldn't do the LED lights?
Well, certain occasions.
What would be those occasions?
This is a R-rated show. Might be kids out now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, he got a small place. It's too small. See, at least Lajuan has a place for his weights.
Well, Lajuan has a whole house.
So he has a whole house. So I don't know. Michael and Jasmina, they go to his apartment, and that's when she admitted that she actually needed space. She must have forgot about the last interview she did. So his apartment was trash. He got that apartment. It's a 3-bedroom apartment, and
3-bedroom. Who was he living there with?
Oh, wait a minute. Well, we can't get into that yet. So, yeah, I mean, no, he got 2 female roommates. And, Jasmina said on their first night, this guy is my roommate and my best friend. And I guess it didn't prompt him to say Michael to say, oh, my roommates ain't here. That, by the way, there's Shayna and Shaniqua, or whoever. His place is junky, and they must be young female roommates, because they living in a place like that. Like, nobody want to clean up or organize. So they had a little issue, and so now we got everybody moving into the new apartments,
which are beautiful, modern,
nice,
clean.
And so we go to Mark. So he's moved they moved all the cats in. They got 5 cats running around. They got a weird, crazy looking cat that he is looking like he's walking on 3 fur balls, and he might be like I don't know what kind of cat that was, but yeah, so he's like all about control. Like, he can't control the situation, so he gets stressed out. And that's why that's why he doesn't want to really move in with her, because he can't control every little moving piece that's going on. Michael and Jasmina, they just got tension. It's been tension since that second day of that honeymoon. I mean, they argue about the roommates that Michael didn't tell her he had. Like, she had to bring that back up. She's like, hold on, can we talk for a second? Listen here, homie. Remember you had told me about that situation you ain't down about? Like, he is caught up. Like,
why do you think he failed to mention that? And do you think it was a big deal?
I don't think he got game enough to be like, yeah, them, if he was doing something with them roommates, I don't think he's doing anything with them. And why did he fail to mention? He is just weird. He's strange. He's a strange guy.
Do you think it was a bit of absent-mindedness, or
Could have been, or it could have been like some guys
just
are
a
like,
poor communicator?
yeah, it could have been poor communication, because some guys are just like, if you don't ask me something directly, then you ain't asked me, and
Okay.
they might not be forthcoming with just because that's his nature.
Yeah.
He's only speaking when spoken to, or
Gotcha.
answers when asked something.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just like, okay, he ain't had nothing to say, or maybe he's too nervous that he got a bombshell on this experiment. We got Alyssa crying and mad because she got somebody she didn't like, but he got some I don't think he can pull on the streets of Boston, because she's really nice. Like, he is lucky. It could have went anyway.
Highly favored, because her and Katina are literally, they look like models. They're built like models. They have the faces of a model. Like, they're both. And in fact, I even said, and let us know what you guys think too, but do you guys think that maybe they are intentionally going after people who are way and above average now, again, in a way to sort of make for higher ratings, to pull, because they kind of know that Married at First Sight is really popping off now. I think more viewers are tuned in than ever before. I'm just guessing. I don't look at the actual rankings. But between like the salaciousness of like the ridiculousness that comes from these people, like Chris a couple of seasons back, who was married to Paige, and then the attractiveness, it all seems to have been just like turned up 10 notches.
Yeah,
Do you think so?
They got some really attractive people this season, so.
Yeah, but do you think that's part of their strategy?
I think it's gonna continue. They're gonna continue to get some stunners.
Supermodel like contestants, castmates.
Yeah.
Because it really makes you wonder why Katina and Jasmine have 9-to-5 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They literally could be, and they might already be influencers, and if they are, let us know. But yeah, they have a lot of opportunities.
Yep, and Lindsay and Mark are just having too many problems. I mean, she's seeing real him. She's saying that he's hot and cold, up and down, inconsistent. Maybe his representative is gone. The person you meet. It's like they only a week, right?
They're like 8 days in. The representative is supposed to be around for about 18 months.
Yeah, at the very least. So Chris and Alyssa. So Chris meets with his friend, and Alyssa meets with her moms, and they all explaining why they not making it, or they just talk. Well, Chris and his friend, he's telling his friend about the ridiculousness that he had to go through, and his friend can't believe that he's going through half the stuff, well, all the stuff. And of course, Alyssa's trying to paint the picture to her mom, about him, and about everything is not her fault. This is all beyond her control. I mean, she was talking about that. Who writes defund the police on his social media?
That part.
That was, I mean, she's just making up stuff. And I mean, because his best friend is a cop. So, but she would know that had she had a conversation with him.
2 things about that. Number one, I think that the cop might have been the same guy who threw Chris under the bus. So he might still need to reevaluate that friendship. Forgive me if it's someone else, but it looked similar to the same guy from the wedding night. And then I do think that maybe production decided a while back that they just don't like her, by virtue of how they edited that, actually, because they were both, the way it was prompted, like Alyssa saying, I was really troubled by his post, because she was saying to her mom, I have so much respect for the first responders. First of all, anyone that says that is being pretentious. 100% being pretentious. I have so much respect for the first responders. You know how I feel about them. So pretentious. I hope you realize that when you see that back, okay? And then how they literally then cut right to Chris, who I'm sure was also prompted by production to have this conversation about. And here you are, a cop, and you're my best friend. Like, the way it was edited made me kind of think that, okay, she's pissed some people off.
Yeah, they're not trying to save her.
They're throwing her under the bus at this point. So Alyssa, you might be a nice person, you might be a good person. I'm not going to comment either way. I will just say that you were being pretentious at times and a little bit privileged and a little bit Karen-ish, but I digress. But the point is, you pissed some people off that were important to the show because they are not interested in giving you a fair shot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You polished off your plate.
I sure did.
I don't even need to wash it. Just a quick rinse.
I'm gonna lick it. No, I'm just joking. So now it's Pastor Cal's time to come talk to all the newlyweds. So Michael, he goes to Michael and Jasmine's place first. And that exchange between Michael and Jasmine, that exchange was...
Do you think she still has respect for him?
No, she talks to him like he's a child now. I mean, she works in education, and she was saying, now, Michael, we are not doing this. Like,
She was saying that.
yeah, she was really condescending.
She had her teacher voice on.
Mm-hmm. And he's just sitting there. Like, he's already messed this up. I don't know how he's going to save it. I don't know how he's going to save it. I mean, he was already shooting above his weight.
I agree with that, though.
Yeah, and
she could get a baller.
Yeah.
Let's be real. She could get a football player.
And she's a year older, and he's acting like a child, so I don't think she's ever going to even let him, you know.
Mm-hmm. She could even get a CEO. Sorry, I don't want to limit her to just entertainers. She could get anyone, basically.
She can get a scientist or something.
She could get anyone, yeah. Doctor. She has her pick.
She's.
I agree with you.
She's one of the good ones. You know, I guess the thing they found out is he talks at her more, instead of, and you know, Pastor Cal gave them some advice on how to combat that. You know, I guess she got to tell him that she's not his enemy, and they agreed on that. And then they go to Elijah and Katina. Pastor Kyle, he busts Elijah about his cooking requirement, because he was like, you ain't never say none of that. That was a deal breaker, you know. So it's like, where's this coming from? Because as soon as he came in, it's like, well, what's that smell? She was like, I just made spaghetti and garlic bread.
And what did I just say, viewers, about putting starch?
And starch.
Oh, no, I said
Two
starch
starches.
and two starches is also not good, but starch and flesh foods, no bueno.
Yep. So
Let me remove my holistic lifestyle coaching cap now.
But yeah, I mean, she was proud of that spaghetti. I mean, I guess she really can't cook, because anybody can make spaghetti. But I mean, when you're hungry and you smell spaghetti, though, it's good.
How important is it that a woman cooks, or that a wife cooks in a marriage?
I don't know. I think having the ability to cook, like, you may not cook all the time, but you know how to cook, and when it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my outer self, but my inner self is, yeah, she needs to know how to cook. She got to know how to cook good, and she must cook every day. For a marriage, I mean, if I'm paying all the bills, like, why, you know?
That's fair. If you're paying all the bills, I think that's fair.
And especially if you like to cook. That's why, like, it's a win-win. You like to cook, and all you have to do is cook, and everything else is taken care of,
Bob's your uncle.
There you go. All right, so, but they're protecting each other weirdly, and we find out that they still haven't got it in.
Was she the one that said she was going to wait a month?
She said she was going to wait a month,
her? Okay.
but found out that it's because of him now. Like, he is like, she probably ready to go.
Plot twist.
Yeah, and he's like, no, what if it doesn't work?
So what's that about as a man? If you have a woman as beautiful as Katina on your arm and she's married, she's your wife, is that something really that you guys would toy around with in your mind? Is the whole what if, we should take it slow, we should get to know each other. Especially a man of that age as well, who has bagged a daughter and a mother, hoeing out in the streets of
Ain't gonna never let that one down.
Never. Next time, use your inside voice, the large one.
I don't know. Was toy with her because she's
No,
hot?
I'm saying, is that really like a legitimate thing that somebody that young, do you think a man that young in his sexual prime, so to speak, is that something that young men could really fathom or even, I guess, embark on a journey of like, let's really get to know each other. Let's not put sex before. I mean, I could see how religious men do it. I guess if religious men can do it, then anyone can, right?
No, I
guess
think
it's just about conviction, maybe?
I think him and Mark are like that. I think Elijah.
But Mark has been having sex.
Well, let's get back to him later then. I think Elijah wants it to work out, so maybe he not trying to smut her out. You know what I'm saying? So he really cares about her. That's what I think.
So you're saying he's really taking the high road?
Yeah, he's trying to. I think he really is gonna put an effort to make this work, because I think they really like each other for some reason. I wasn't buying it at first. It did take her a minute to warm up to him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but at one part I was like, maybe she need to blink because she might be under mind control, because she's so obedient with him. Like, she was kind of fighting it, but I guess he got her into her, into her feminine energy.
So interesting that you use the word obedient instead of,
Submissive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just being funny with obedient. I just mean she's like really paying attention to him and listening to him, whereas she seemed like she was fighting it before, but she seems like, I'm just gonna follow him. So she's letting him lead. Now all he gotta do is fuck it up, and then he's back to being
in the streets of Boston.
Isaac the Misaac or whatever. All right, then Pastor Cal gave them the green light to have sex, so he don't think it's wrong. So then we go to Mark and Lindsay. They got some issues. They got so many.
Tell us.
I think it's just because Lindsay needs, he's not validating her enough. Like, she needs constant attention and constant affection. And Mark is kind of not too affectionate to a degree that she needs. So she's a lot for him in that way. And he is stressed out that he can't control a lot of what's going on in his life right now. So it's he's in his head. He's in his head about a lot of stuff to where it's affecting his relationship. And she just needs to give him, like, if she knows she's a lot, then she needs to know that, hey, maybe I'm coming on too strong sometimes, and kind of like think about what she's doing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was struggling with that scene because I think a lot of her complaints also come from their time spent away from the camera, so it's hard for me to really put my finger on what the issue is outside of I see Lindsay can be a very intense person at times. Very intense. I can see the intensity, but the hot, cold. I mean, I guess we have seen it a little bit because sometimes on camera, Mark will say, let's slow it down, but then they're consistently having sex, it seems like.
Yeah.
So it's like, make up your mind. It's that flip-flopping for me, I guess.
But I think for Mark, it's he might be a man who when stuff happens or he's going through stuff, he doesn't control it. Like, he wants to be in control, but he can't control his reaction to life. You know, like, the stress is enough to make him be standoffish and not want to, you know, not want to be his partner's, you know, lover or be there for his partner because he's going through stuff. So, yeah, I've seen that happen before, you know. You're in a relationship, but all this stuff outside the relationship is happening. And it could be so much for you to handle, but you haven't gotten the help yet. So you kind of cut everybody off the closest to you because you can't, you know, you don't know what to do.
Right.
Okay, so Mark the Shark. Yeah, he okay, so Steve and Noe, they things are going well except for the issue of kids and finances. She's a refugee child, so she is not trying to be poor. And she don't understand. She needs stability. She don't understand this. I want to travel the world and go to Burning Man concerts and backpack naked in the Nepal or something.
He has the complexion for protection, you said?
Complexion for the protection.
And she does not.
Yeah, because he looks more, he could pass for full on white. Yeah, I mean, you know, she wants 3 kids and he wants 2. He's being logical about it. He's like, let's see how we are with 2. We can't just automatically say 3 because we want 3. We gotta, like, you know, what if we're not at the level where we can afford another one at that time? You know, she's like, I don't care. 3. I grew up as 3 siblings. I'm gonna have 3 siblings. All my cousins and aunts and nieces and nephews got 3 kids. I can't be the only one with 2 kids.
It was a bizarre argument, if you ask me, honestly.
It seemed kind of manufactured.
It did. It did feel manufactured because it's like, this is small potatoes. I mean, you could have real disagreements about things like finances, religion, you know, vaccines. There's so many things that you can have real disagreements about when it comes to family. But there's so many other variables that you have to consider. I thought Steve was very rational when he said, what if you have a special needs child?
Yeah.
You know, that is a...
yeah, because that's like 2 kids sometimes.
Right, exactly. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? That can be so much extra work that you may not have the resources, time, and energy, like he said. I mean, that's such a valid point.
Yeah.
You can't have a perfect, rigid view of what your life is going to be like. And I think the older you get, the more you understand that.
Yeah.
You don't have as much control as you think you do.
Yeah.
There's a greater force at work, guys, also known as the one source, whatever you want to call it. But
or we plan, God laughs. You know.
True story.
Sometimes you gotta.
True story.
You gotta
I've
live
lived it.
Day to day.
I've lived that many times because I am OCD. I am retentive. The amount of things that I plan, that never work out the way I think they're going to. Sometimes better, sometimes worse, but rarely the way that I plan.
All
How
right.
about you?
No, I'm just saying. I just know you're gonna have up days and you're gonna have bad days. Like when you up, just be ready for the down to come. You don't know when, but you know it's coming because you've been up too long. And then it just cycle, constant cycle. All right, so we got ebb and flow. Back to Mark and Lindsay. They're not having sex, and Yeah, they not doing it no more.
What's
They
not
was doing it
having
every
sex
day.
though? The last 2 days they haven't had sex. The last 7
Yeah,
days.
because they had sex every day. They known
They've
each
been
other.
married 8 days so far, guys. Just
Yeah, they
remember.
just
So
taking a break.
I mean, yeah.
3 times
what's not
in one
having,
day sometimes.
Yeah. So what's not having sex? What's not having sex to me is an extended period of time of what, maybe 30 days. Then
Yeah.
you can say we're not having sex.
Because he's saying he's smothered. He feels smothered.
But if you've been married 8 days and you've had sex even 5 out of those 8 days, or even 4 out of those 8 days, you can't really say we're not having sex.
Yeah. So yeah, she was really crazy, and she calmed down a little. Pastor Cal was there, but she was even still getting crazy when he was there.
Is that a turnoff to men when women require sex daily? Maybe more frequently than a man desires to?
What man are we?
Mark is an example.
He's weird. Maybe he's not in shape. I don't know. I don't know why. But no, he was doing it 3 times with her.
I know, but I'm just saying, like she seems to be the one that initiates.
Yeah, I mean, she's on him more than he is.
Not that we're in the bedroom with them,
but I think he's just in his head too about. I think he's like want to take it slow because he's probably thinking, what if it don't work?
Oh, like Elijah one.
Like Elijah one. So that's because otherwise, I mean, it's all good. You should be lucky or happy. Get a woman who requires more sex. I mean, unless you just don't have the stamina or the willpower.
Oh.
No, I mean, some people, some guys just like, you can take care of yourself. I got mine. I mean, that's what women say, right?
I suppose.
All right, people say that. Okay, so anyway, back to, let's go to Chris and Alyssa. So this is funny. She came to the apartment because they know Pastor Kyle is going to come do his talk. So that was awkward as hell. I mean, this is a perfect time, Alyssa. Why don't you say y'all got it wrong, experts? He right there in your face, but what did she do? She started playing the victim. Like she was the one trying all this stuff, trying to get with him, and he's been like, she just did a straight up role reversal. Like she was
backtracked on everything.
I know, she was so just weird. Just like, she gonna be a Karen, a good one, because she just turned it around and made it about her.
This woman is such a roller coaster.
Yeah. After Chris laid everything out that was going on to Pastor Kyle, he was like, did you ever have a conversation in depth with him? And she was like,
She's too busy running.
Yeah, I mean,
always running.
She never had a conversation.
Her, from his gestures to the way he breathes.
Yeah.
Everything was an issue, Alyssa. Everything.
Then she couldn't think of anything, so she just said, too many things kept happening. It was like, we didn't see none of these things that was happening.
We saw the gestures and him breathing.
Yeah.
All of which was bothersome.
Him breathing was the things that was happening that she didn't like. Him existing.
Let me ask you something. To quote one of our fellow YouTubers, Auntie's Advice, whom we very much enjoy watching. Hey, Auntie.
That's true.
She gave a really interesting perspective about Chris being a gaslighter and gaslighting Alyssa and playing the same mind games that she was. What did you think about that?
I didn't. That's probably that's something I don't know. Like, I don't know how she got to that one. That must be, a person who's lived a long, long life with a lot of situations, because I surely didn't see that. Like, I didn't see him playing the victim and turning everything on her, and, You
didn't see him being condescending. She said he was very condescending to her.
I mean, she could have been right that they didn't show us those parts because they was making her the victim. But I think it's bad for them if she was the victim, or if she really wasn't there. It'd be bad for them because they're trying to make this experiment. They're trying to get the numbers, the most positive numbers. So seeing that they failed on that one isn't going to make them, you know what I'm saying? That's going to make the process look dumb. It's going to make, okay, this process is stupid. Look, that girl left, like, you know? So that's why I don't think like they had to manipulate the situation. I think they just let it play out as it really was happening. I don't think he was turning around, but I don't know. There's always two sides.
Always two sides.
So I mean, she just had every excuse in the book why she didn't like him. It was like, remember, she was like, we have two big dogs, right? And then she was like, and I'm allergic to dogs. Oh, she said, I'm allergic to dogs, but I have a dog. And he was like, well, aren't you allergic to dogs? And she was like, but I've been around him for 10 years, so.
Do you hear yourself? Seriously, Alyssa, do you hear yourself?
I've lived with this dog for 10 years, so I'm not allergic to him anymore. But I'm allergic to dogs.
Listen, I'm going to start holding the people around Alyssa accountable here for a moment. You all have contributed, to who she is today. The fact that she does not hear the words that come out of her mouth, the fact that she takes zero accountability is because, in part, you all have allowed this nonsense to go on. You all need to make this wrong right.
Yeah, I mean.
Seriously. Alyssa, get some black people in your life.
Yes.
Get some good black people in your life. Befriend them so that they can sort you out. Because the people that you have right now in your life are yes people. And this is not serving you.
Yeah, nobody's calling her out. And when they do, she can't take it. Yeah, I mean, because she's just playing the victim role the whole time in front of Pastor Kyle. And Chris bosses up, though. He bosses up. He starts saying, you know, what he want to say now. And,
but wait, the plot twist of what she was hoping to get to that day, which was?
I mean, he was just like,
no, what was she wanting to do?
But no, I mean, after a while, he was like, this is my decision. This is my decision day. What I say goes.
Right.
But he shouldn't have said that from the beginning, because then she'd have been like, see, I told you, he's a monster. But he was just, you know, she starts crying. He was like, I want a divorce. So.
But the part that you skipped over is that she made it look like she wanted to work it out. That was the plot twist.
I mean, that's what I was saying in the beginning.
Oh, then never mind, I missed that.
No, I mean, she was saying that she was doing all the work.
Well, the fact that she came in there saying, I'm hoping that we can get to a better place. I'm here today so that we can move from where we are here.
I've been wanting some counseling.
And it's like, really? After all you've done to this man?
Yeah.
After all the times over the last 8 days that you have avoided spending a night with him, having an in-depth conversation with him, being transparent and honest with him, now you want to telling him that you won't live with him, that you want to let him live there for the first month and you'll live there for the second month, and you expect him to still be open to trying to work on things? You've given him nothing to go off of. And the man is depleted. Frankly, Alyssa, we are all depleted just from watching it.
She got some giant huevos.
Cojones.
And she also said, I'm not a bad person. She said that twice in this episode. She said it 5 times in the episode before that. So, oh man. All right, so your last thoughts. What'd you rate this episode?
My last thoughts. I rate this episode a 7. And now the only hope that I have is really for Katina and Elijah. And I'm still going to say I have hope for Stephen Noy. But the other couples, Michael and Jasmina, not so much. Lindsay and Mark, they're very
toxic.
yeah, there's a lot of this, and ebb and flow is natural, but when it's too high and too low and too high and too low, that's not healthy. So I don't know that any couple can survive that and be happy genuinely. Obviously,
when it's good, it's really good, and when it's bad for them.
Yeah, that's not a place that a relationship will thrive in. I think not a marriage.
And that's why Chris said finally, I want a divorce, because he's like, how the hell are we gonna have a happy marriage?
Yeah,
you know,
after
look at this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted peace.
What did you think? Do you have hope for these couples? Who are you still rooting for? I mean, I'm rooting for everyone. Just to make that clear, I just don't know that. I don't think they're all going to make it, unfortunately.
I think Elijah and Katina might make it from this point, and I kind of still think Mark and Alyssa might make it too. I don't know. I kind of see them.
You mean Lindsay and Mark?
Lindsay and Mark, the shark.
Yeah.
And everybody else is toast. It's done.
That sucks. Even Noy and Steve, hey? You don't see a future for them?
Oh, yeah. But he did say he have a plan now. You know, he said he got a lot of options, like if he wanted to work or whatever. I think they may work though. I don't know long term, because he might get another wild hair up his ass and be like, I want to go to Antarctica or something. I don't know. I want to go to Terra del Fuego and, you know, the edge of South America. All right, so yeah, I gave it a 8. I really like this episode.
It was good.
All right, well, that's it for our review of Married at First Sight, season 14. I think episode 5 or 6.
7 or 8. No,
7,
just
8,
kidding.
9. All right, so thanks for
time.
enjoying us. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for watching. And until next time,
Get free.
stay decent.
Bye.